Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So glad you're joining us this evening for services. We're going to begin on the screens with Sanctuary. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Ve'asuli mikdash ve'shachamti betacham ve'anachnu nevarech Yahweh me'ata ve'ad olam. You read responsibly in the middle of 124. May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We turn back to 120 for our candle lighting. Carrie, would you like to light candles?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed art you, O Lord our God, who rules the universe, instilling in us the holiness of mitzvot by commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen. We continue with Hinei Atov on the top of 128. Hine matovu manai, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matovu manai, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat Shalom. We read together on 134. Sing praise to Adonai with the lyre and melodious song, with trumpets and the blast of the horn. Raise a shout before Adonai, the ruler. Let the sea and all within it thunder, the world and its inhabitants. Let the rivers clap their hands, the mountains sing joyously together at the presence of Adonai. For God is coming to rule the earth. God will rule the world justly and its people with equity. We continue with the Chadodi as we prepare to welcome the Sabbath bride, 138 and 139. Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad. Ishmiyanu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad, Ishmo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litila, lecha dodi likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat l'chuvanelcha, ki mekor habracha, mirosh mikadem, Nasucha, Sova Ase, B'mashavat Tehila, Lecha Doti Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, Kiva Ore, Kumi Uri, Uri, Shirda Beri, Kavod Adonai, Alike Nigla, Lecha Doti Likrat Kala, Pene Shabbat Nekabela. You rise and face the entrance as we sing verse 9, welcoming the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha utzochola, tochem unei segula, boi chala, lecha doti likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We continue together with Sadi Katamar in the middle of page 140. Sadi Katamar Yikra Ke'erez Bavanon Yistashetuli Bevet Adonai, Behatzrot Eloheinu, Yachiku, Od Yanuvun Beseva, Yeshenim Bera'ananim, Yikru, Leha'i, Yeshar Adonai, Suri, Belo, Avlatavo. Together in the middle of 141, we read, Adonai is sovereign, God is robed in grandeur. Adonai is robed, God is girded with strength. The world stands firm, it cannot be shaken. Your throne stands firm from of old. From eternity you have existed. The ocean sounds, Adonai. The ocean sounds its thunder. The ocean sounds its pounding. Above the thunder of the mighty waters, more majestic than the breakers of the sea, is Adonai, majestic on high. Your decrees are indeed enduring. Holiness befits your house, Adonai, for all times. Continue on 142 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malechei Hashavet, Malechei Elyon. Melech, Malechei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malechei Hashalom, Malechei Elyon. Melech, Malechei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Lile Shalom, Maleche HaShalom, Maleche Yom. Mi Melech, Maleche Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem l'shalom, Maleche HaShalom, Maleche Yom. Mi Melech, Maleche Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence. We turn to 144 for the Hatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, B'alma divrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, V'chayechunu yomechon u'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. V'agala v'agala u'bizman kariv v'meru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'me'omaya Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yipar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaser, V'yitadar, V'yitale, V'yitalav, Shmei D'Kodesha, B'richu, Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nehemata, Tamiran be'alma, V'meru amen. We turn the page and rise to Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai, Amevorach. Baruch Adonai, Amevorach, Amevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. Amevorach, Amevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. Continue together on top of 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Greater of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Top of 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ochel Amo Yisrael. We continue together on the following page with Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. (154) Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meotecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha b'derech, uv'shochtecha uv'kumecha, uv'kshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letodakot b'neinecha, uv'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvisharecha leman tiskiru vasitem ekol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Amen. Continue responsively in the middle of 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. High heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your purpose. Sacrifice and peace. Time and again. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God. It is keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. We join together in our song of redemption in Mi Chamocha on 158. Yai lai lai yai lai 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 la 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 yai lai 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 ya la 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 yai lai 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 la 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 yai lai 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 ya la 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha neva b'kodesh Nora tehilot osei felech Nora tehilot osei felech Malchutecha ra'u banecha Lokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze Elianu ve'amru Ze Elianu ve'amru Adonai yimloch Le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch Le'olam va'ed. Read together in the middle of 160. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and rise as up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Continue on the following page with Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל Bnei Yisrael, oti leolam, v'shamru Bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. So you turn to page 164 and rise in body or spirit for the Amidah. You take a moment to just take a big breath in and out, releasing some of the tension of the week. We'll chant pages 164 through 170. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufiya kitehilata. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Hasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Gula Lifnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Mashiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav Hoshia, Morid Hatal. Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asiri, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Kiburot, Umido Melam, Melech Memi Tumechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'amanata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We continue together on the top of 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue together in the middle of 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha bir'ah na'alhu. Middle of 177. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, Hato Shimcha V'ha Na'eh V'hodot. Turn the page and join together in singing Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Yatahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Yatahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael, B'chol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Shalom Ahava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hambarech et amo Yisrael, Shalom. Take a moment for silent prayer. The words in 180 and 181 are the words of your hearts. Ose shalom bimromah, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al Yisrael, ve'imru, imru amen. Yase shalom, yase shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We turn now to page 371. Our thoughts turn to those in our community, in our family, in our hearts, who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. If there's someone you're thinking of, please feel free to share their name. Al Berman, Dennis Linderman, Nancy Shira, Margot Seckler, Lena Masari, Magnus Riley, Isser Lee Ben Haber Rivka, Alanabat Abraham Basara. Lynn. Join together in the middle of the page with Mishabara. We add Don B's family, Bob, Noah, Treva, Frank M's family, Chris, May, and Dale. We hold all those named and unnamed in our hearts. Mishabara Avoteinu Mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishabera imotenu Mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Hamim tahyeh im Adonai Elohecha. You must be wholehearted with Adonai, your God. We read these words in this week's Parsha Shoftim, which translates to judges or magistrates. Lots of rules, lots of guidelines are shared with our ancestors in this part of Deuteronomy. This particular verse appears in the discussion about not seeking out false prophets or soothsayers, sorcerers, or ones who consult with the spirits. The Israelites are not to be like other nations and go searching for answers from the dead or in the stars. Yet, read in isolation, I find the verse speaks to me on another level and connects well with Psalm 27, the psalm we read daily at this season. For sharing the connection I see, we must first explore what some of our commentators have shared about this verse in order to build a foundation for the connection between it and Psalm 27. The Kitzer Baal Haturim, who lived in late 13th and early 14th centuries in Western Europe, commented on this idea of wholehearted. The letter Tav is large in Hebrew, indicating that if you go wholeheartedly, it is as if you have fulfilled from Aleph to Tav, from A to Z in your life. Chaim ben Moshe ben Ibn Attar, who was born in Morocco and died in Jerusalem, wrote in his commentary in the early 18th century, inasmuch as the previous verses dealt with people who engage in a variety of magic mixed with their religious tenets, the Torah has to emphasize that our relationship with God must be predicated on mutual exclusivity. You may therefore best translate this verse as meaning you will be complete and at ease with Adonai your God, provided that you are on the same wavelength as Adonai your God. Both of these commentators draw attention to a deeper understanding of the verse than what we see on its surface. One explores the idea of wholeheartedly, meaning all-encompassing, while the other draws our attention to the importance of our relationship with God being predicated on mutual exclusivity. Psalm 27 builds on both of these teachings. The JPS translation of Psalm 27 reads as follows: The Lord is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Whom should I dread? When evil men assail me to devour my flesh, it is they, my foes and my enemies, who stumble and fall. Should an army besiege me, my heart would have no fear. Should war beset me still, I would be confident. One thing I ask of the Lord, only that do I seek, to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord, to frequent God's temple. God will shelter me in God's pavilion on an evil day, grant me the protection of God's tent, raise me up high upon a rock. Now is my head high over my enemies round about. I sacrifice in God's tent with shouts of joy, singing and chanting a hymn to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry aloud, have mercy on me, answer me. On your behalf, my heart says, seek my face, O Lord, I seek your face. Do not hide your face far from me. Do not thrust aside your servant in anger. You have ever been my help. Though my father and my mother abandon me, the Lord will take me in. Show me your way, O Lord, and lead me on a level path because of my watchful foes. Do not subject me to the will of my foes, for false witnesses and unjust accusers have appeared against me. Had I not the assurance that I would enjoy the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living? Look to the Lord, be strong and of good courage. Look to the Lord. This psalm is not only the psalm of this season of Elul through Sukkot, it is one of the traditional psalms read during Kabbalat Shabbat. It's also the psalm sung as the ark is opened for the chanting and recitation of Kol Nidre and Yom Kippur. Though we generally only read or sing certain lines of the psalm, it is one of the more well-known. For our learning and our connection between the week's Parsha and Psalm 27, I wish to draw attention to the verse, one thing I ask of Adonai, only that do I seek, to live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to gaze upon the beauty of Adonai, to frequent God's temple. If that is what we each seek, to live in God's house, then I believe we must be wholehearted with Adonai, our God. We cannot be all-encompassing from Aleph to Tav, from A to Z, without being wholehearted. And we cannot hope to dwell in God's house without our whole selves. As we walk through the month of Elul, the month leading up to Rosh Hashanah, we take the time for inward reflection and contemplation. We think of the good of the past year and we decide on what we want the next year to be. We reach out to those we have hurt, make amends, and we recognize that each of us has a role in bettering our congregation, community, country, family, world. As we work towards a better self, may we hold the concluding words of Psalm 27 as our guide. Look to Adonai, be strong and of good courage. Oh, look to Adonai. Shabbat shalom. We turn now back to our prayer books, page 586. So we rise in body or spirit for Aleinu. Bottom of 586, followed by the top of 588. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latei gdula liotzer b'reshit, shelo asanu kue aratzo, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam kolkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamona. Ve'anachnu korim u'mishachavinu modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu notei shamayim ve'yoser haaretz u'moshev yikaro b'shamayim ima'o u'shchinatu zo Ushchinatu zo, begod he meromi, hu Eloheinu enod, emet malkeinu efesulato, kakatu betorato, yadata hayom behashevota elevavecha. Ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim ima'o, ve'aretz mitachat einod. Top of 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand, but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You may be seated. 594. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. Congregation especially remembers the yahrzeits of Eva Andersky, Barbara Artson, Michael K. Bach, Rosalie Berman, Lillian Bernard, Rose Helen Blank, H. Gordon Pfeffer, Dr. Michael M. Frank, Ruth Frank, Rachel Galperin, Ruth Galperin, Sadie Golden, Linda Paul Haff, Ethel Heller Hyman, William C. Heller Jr., Nathan Kaplan, Evelyn Lawrence, Tilly Madison, Lucille McDonald, Pauline Orwin, Louis Collins, Frida Reinheimer, Anna Rittman, Julia Schwan, Bessie Schwidke, Herb Schwidke, Alan Serlin, Max Shapiro, Louis Skolnick, Louis Shamosky, Jean Tanoff Glasser, and Morris Weintraub. Yeah, Gary Wolfson. Are there other names or corrections? We turn to page 598 and rise in body or spirit for the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulomei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalav, shmei dukudusha, b'reichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, nechayim aleinu be'el kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom b'molma, huya say shalom, aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. Please be seated. A few announcements. Tomorrow morning services are at 10 a.m. in person and on Zoom. Link, if you'd like to join on Zoom, went out in today's email. We will be starting our text study for the next 4 weeks is going to be on Psalm 27. If you'd like to learn more about it, we begin text study at 11:30 on Saturdays after services. Look forward to seeing you there. You don't have to have any background, and you can come to any of the sessions. They're standalone. Next week, we are celebrating Kabbalat Shabbat at Market Glen Park. At 6 p.m. is the service. You are invited to bring food to eat after the service for yourself. We're not doing potluck this year, but people are welcome to stay and schmooze. We do have a shelter reserved, and the information about which shelter and where on the map and all of that went out in today's email and will go out in Monday's email as well. And if you have questions, email, call us. We don't want anyone to get lost. There is a $5 fee if you don't have the county park pass, not the Michigan park pass, but the county park pass to get into Market Glen. If that's a problem for anyone, please let me know. We can cover that. Book club is meeting in September during Sukkot. In the Sukkah. Well, when the Sukkah's there. The Thursday of Sukkot will be book club. Do you remember the title? I remember that it's about men, boys who came over from Europe before World War II, who were Jewish, who immigrated, and then chose to enlist in the US Army and go back to fight. And Carrie can give you more information after services if you have questions. And then next Saturday services are our usual at 10 a.m. here. But we will not be streaming the service that's at the park. Otherwise, we are in person and streaming up until the high holidays. If you did not receive the letter about the high holidays, please let me know. We can talk about what our plans are as we are at reduced capacity for the high holidays. Okay, I think that's it. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Yes. What? If you would like to eat after services, you need to bring food. If you do not want to eat after services at the park, you don't, yes, just for yourselves. We are not doing potluck. COVID. But Naomi is coming and it will be a lovely service. We're doing service packets, so we'll have enough for everybody. And we look forward to seeing people. Thank you for the question. I appreciate it. We are going to turn to page 625. Someday I won't sound like I'm guessing that it's page 625 that a Donut alum is on, but tonight is not the night. We're joined together in our closing song, the Donut alum. Adonai Asher Mala, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, Li'ed Nasa V'Hefsoko, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'achare Kiflot HaKol, B'vado Yimloch Nora, V'hu Haya V'hu Hove, V'hu Yiyeh B'tifara, V'hu Echad Mi'esheni, Lahamshilo Lechachvira, B'li Reshit B'li Tachlit, V'lo Haoz V'hamisra, V'hu Eli V'chai Goali, V'tzur Havli V'etzara, V'hu Nisi Umanosli, Menat Kosi B'yom Ekra B'yahado Avki Ruhi, V'tishan V'ayira, V'imruhi B'viati, Adonai li v'lo ira. Shabbat shalom, everybody.